How's it going, everyone? It's Lumity here, back again with another video game video, and today we are going to be talking about Ty the Tasmanian Tiger HD on the Xbox Series X. Now, even though this game is on the Xbox Series X, graphically, it ain't great, I gotta be honest. But however, it doesn't claim to be great graphically. This is not a remaster from what I can tell whatsoever. This is literally an HD transfer. They took the game, they HDified it, and they put it on the Xbox One. And even though it doesn't look great graphically, it looks like a PS2 game, which is what it originally was. It just looks like a shiny PS2 game now. It still is a lot of fun, and that's what matters the most. How much fun it is. And also, there's other things such as characters, map design, and everything, and we'll get into that. So let's go ahead and jump right into Ty the Tasmanian Tiger. So yes, graphically, it's dated. The cutscenes, I really wish they would have done something about the cutscenes because they look bad. Like, the cutscenes look really bad. They're really pixelated, really fuzzy looking, and, I wish they would have done something to clean them up a little bit because they are pretty rough to watch. The first time I saw it, it really threw me for a loop. I wasn't expecting it to look like that. And I kind of got used to it as time went on. The cutscenes didn't bother me as bad. But I gotta say, that first time I saw them, I was just like, wow, that's rough. but like I said, like with all graphics, once you get used to it, you're used to it. And then you don't really notice it anymore. This game, even though its graphics may not be great, it's a lot of fun. It brings that nostalgia I have for platformers back. I love 3D platformers. I grew up with 3D platformers. Spyro, Crash Bandicoot, those are the main ones I grew up with. But I love Spyro, I love Crash Bandicoot. I played Spyro's Ripto's Rage and Spyro Enter the Dragonfly constantly. I played the Crash Bandicoot games constantly. I love those games. And this definitely feels like a Spyro game, even though you're not, on four legs, you're a bipedal creature. Even though you are running around two-legged, it still feels like a Spyro game. It plays like Enter the Dragonfly does. It reminded me a lot of that. Even the mini-games and everything like that, it definitely felt like a Spyro game. And that's really good for me because I love the Spyro games, so I really like that. I like the way it feels. I like the way it plays. It's very smooth. The camera took me a little bit of getting used to, but once I got used to it, I was fine with it. It just moves kind of fast, and I wasn't used to how fast it moved, but I got used to it, and I was able to control it just fine. I like the different attacks, because you can get different boomerangs, and that's your main attack. And the boomerangs you can get, shock ones, lava ones, ice ones, and depending on which one you have, it can affect the environment in different ways. And that's pretty cool, because you can actually only get into certain areas if you have a certain boomerang. So that's a neat idea. It was cool. And besides just the ones that you need to progress the story, there are extras that you can get as well, including an explosive boomerang, which is really cool, something called a multi-ring, which basically you dual-wield boomerangs in this game no matter what, like you constantly are dual-wielding them. However, with the multi-ring, you basically get to throw like 10 at a time, and it's pretty crazy, and I really like it. But yeah, it's absolutely just really well designed. I have to give them credit for that. It is a very well-designed game. Other than just your, ranged attack, you do have a close-up bite attack, which is your close range attack, and you can freeze enemies with your ice boomerang. You can freeze them and then you can bite them. Some enemies you can only defeat them by biting, so there is a variety there, kind of like how in Spyro there's some enemies that you have to blow fire on and there's some enemies that you have to ram. It's the same thing. That's why it reminds me a lot of Spyro. It's just the way that you have to take down enemies and everything. It definitely reminds me of that era of gaming. And I guess it should because it's PS2. But I do like it. Even though I've never played this game before, I felt nostalgic playing it just because I'm so used to the gameplay style from when I was a kid. I'm so familiar with it that I just immediately resonated with me. I cannot talk about a 3D platformer without talking about the collectibles, because every single 3D platformer is a collectathon for the most part. And this is no different. There are a lot of collectibles to get, and each collectible has a different function. The main thing you're after is Thunder Eggs. You're trying to get Thunder Eggs, and when you get enough of these Thunder Eggs, you can summon a boss fight, and you basically have to defeat the boss to get the talisman. And each one of these areas has a boss fight, just like how you would see in pretty much every 3D platformer. Again, I always reference Spyro because this reminds me a lot of Spyro in the way it's set up. How there's a different boss fight for each region of the hub world that you're in. So you do that. You can also get gears, and these gears will allow you to upgrade your boomerang, which is important because you want to get all the different stuff. Those are very helpful. There's a lot of boomerang upgrades, and they are really helpful in terms of getting other collectibles. There's these little picture frames that you can get, and I'll be honest, I haven't figured out what they do yet. I'm guessing that's like concept art or something, but I don't really know. I haven't messed with it because I get it in the levels, but I never really checked what they do because they don't have any effect on gameplay, so it wasn't something I actually cared to go after a whole lot. And there's also these little bitty thunder eggs that you go after. They're like fragments of it, and if you get 300 of those in a level, then you can combine them and get a full thunder egg. So yeah, that's the collectibles. There's a lot of them, and there's a lot to keep you busy. There's a lot of different stuff in each map. There's a lot of hidden thunder eggs, and the cool thing is if you press the pause button, you can actually see hints for where the thunder eggs are at. And that is actually helpful in some levels because there are some that are just like a pain in the butt to find, but if you look at the hint, you may be able to keep searching until you find it. So this game, overall, is a lot of fun. I definitely think you should check it out if you like 3D platformers. If you like games like this, you will love this game. This is something that I wish we actually get more of. I wish we get more 3D platformers these days, but it's just not a primary focus anymore. And that's unfortunate because I love these so much. They're so nostalgic, they're so much fun, and I want as many 3D platformers as I can get. The good news, however, is that there are sequels to this game. There are 3 sequels to this game. 2 of them are more 3D platformers, and 1 of them is a 2D platformer. So I will have to check those out eventually and tell you what I think about them, because I'm definitely interested. This game itself, though, I really liked it. I haven't 100% completed it. I need to go through and do that eventually. Hopefully one day I'll do that, because they do hint that there's a secret world if you 100% the game, so I need to go try to find every single collectible so I can get that secret world. I think it said I'm 85% of the way through with all the collectibles, and that's at 6 hours and 30 minutes, so it took me about 6 hours and 30 minutes to beat the game, and I was taking my time because I was looking for collectibles as I was doing it as well, so I think that's a pretty good length. I like it when a game doesn't break that 10-hour mark. That's just the way I am. I prefer games that are just a little bit shorter than 10 hours. I don't know why that is. That's just how I am. I feel like that way they don't overstay their welcome. But there we go. Check this game out, though. It's a great 3D platformer. I really love it, and I hope that you love it as well. It's great. It's full of charisma. The characters are great. The character designs are fantastic. I love these characters, and I want to see more of Ty, Sly, and all these other characters that are in this game. And I even like the ending. Even though the story doesn't matter a whole lot for a game like this, the ending is actually, it's pretty sweet. I like the ending, and that's all I'm going to say. Check it out. I hope you do. I will talk to you in the next video. You have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.